Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are. Welcome to our program Consciousness in Evolution. My name is Ana Yoga, and I am here representing Reaprendência International, a consciousness-centric institution dedicated to re-education. You can find our page Reaprendência International at YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Today we are going to talk about a paradox. Aging body and expanded consciousness awareness. This talk is like a moment to pause and reflect how we are living this phase of our lives. More than a lecture, this is a space to reconnect with your own evolutionary journey. Because maybe the question isn't how old we are, but how consciously we are aging. Therefore, let's rethink aging. It's not an ending, but evolution in motion. To talk about this, we are going to present our guest, a special guest, Professor Ana Paula Lage. She is a volunteer of Conscienciology since 1991. She's a Conscienciology instructor since 1993. Her extensive international experience includes living in 5 different countries, where she presented courses, lectures, and workshops. Ana holds a degree in psychology with specializations in psychogerontology and emotional intelligence in health humanization. Currently, she volunteers at Biblio Africa, a global initiative dedicated to donating conscienciology literature to libraries across Africa. This project has donated over 1,400 books to 568 libraries in 34 countries, aiming to spread the knowledge of conscienciology and in its related fields. So the stage is yours, Ana. Please, let's start.
Hello, Ana. Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depend where you are. So it's a pleasure being here talking about this theme and bringing aging for us to think in a more broader way, taking into account the ideas of conscienciology, projectiology, and how can we apply this set of evolutionary ideas in a way that we can evolve and we can take the best of this time of our lives. When we talk about age, we always think about the body, but we know if we don't have a body to live in this dimension, to act here, we can't assist people, we can't being present and do the work that we need to do here. And Ana put there, principle of disbelief, I think is very important. And this is a principle that we need to take very, very caring consideration, that it's don't believe in anything, not even in what you hear in this webinar. Experiment, have your own experience. Actually, this is the motto that made me connect with conscienciology, projectiology, because it's very important we keep our critical sense. We have an information, but we need to bring to ourselves and see how much of this information or what this person say it makes sense for me, and we discover ourselves our own knowledge about that. When we talk about aging, it's such a great opportunity for us. Yes, it is, because we see the length of our lives, and when we are in our 50s, when we are in our 40s, 50s, 80s, 70s, and who knows, 100, we can look back and so many things we've learned, so many mistakes we've done, so many success we did, but we all could learn. And especially, I would like to start here. My specialization, my area, it's transition, but in aging, it's ageism and myths about aging. And one of the myths that I'm going to start here to talk about, it is the myth that we get wise as we age. Yeah, we can, but demand from us lots of investment throughout our life. And as in everything related to age, there is an accumulative effect of everything we do throughout our lives that will reflect in how we age in our body, in our emotions, in our biology, no, in our relationships, and in general, the life we're gonna have. So that's
That's a very important topic, especially because we are actually getting old. And the idea of getting old, like close to the 60s, when I look at my mom and my grandma, they looked a lot different from us. And sometimes we see on Instagram those hills where the women and men on their 60s, they are like exercising, they are doing so many great things. And my grandma what used to just do manual work and just cook and have a really quiet life. But nowadays it's completely different. And then they kind of make us laugh because getting to be 60 nowadays is the old 40s, let's put it this way, right?
yes, yes. It is something that people say now. That we are living longer and sometimes healthier than before. But also there is this idea that when we age and now we can be really uh, very fit. And you see lots of Instagram now, and that we have people doing the hello, Marcelo. And so it's people doing fitness and doing the things. And it's important we see that everyone can age in their own way. We don't need to follow a way of aging. There are many information, many inputs, but I think the most important thing to understand is aging. It's a phase. It's a result of how we lived our life. We're gonna age, and so we have research. We have people coming with all sorts of ways of aging. I have, for instance, information of ladies that they are in the 80s and they are traveling backpacker around the world, but they started in in the 60s or the 50s, and it's to understand that we can create a better process of aging when we become more flexible and we understand our own preconceptions, we understand our own a priorism about aging, and also we understand that the principle of disbelief. Some people they will function in that way, others gonna function in other ways, no? And for everyone, it's gonna be very good if we experience different things. Yeah, the population, hello, Eliane, and Eliane is putting there, the population of Earth is getting old and we need this knowledge. Yes, some parts of the world, they are people are older and they are having lots of issues as a result of that. We have Japan, where we have the biggest number of centenarians around the world, but they have all other types of problem because the population can't hold these people or can. What's happened there, it's very interesting. The focus of the government it's with the older population, but the younger population doesn't have so much of benefits, and so it creates an imbalance. Also, Korea, now it's an aging population, people not having lots of, they are not reproducing, they are not getting kids now on board, so it's a problem. And we as a world, we are find ways to absorb that longevity and also to understand what's happened with people's life and how to keep these people alive. No? And so the World Health Organization brought the idea of they implement aging with health, and then active aging, health aging, and then afterward active aging, which means having mobility, being able to come and go, having relationships with people. And now what we are seeing is the aging with purpose. which means we encompass everything. You have health, you are able to, we are active, we can go everywhere, we do whatever we want, but also with purpose, because we need to have a reason to wake up every morning and live our lives. And we need to have projects, we need to have objectives of things that we want to do. And this is not a build from one day to another. No, Anna, we were talking about this, no? Yeah.
I can tell that I went through retirement because I used to be a physician in my country, and when I moved to the US, I had to retire the physician. And that personality, that persona was a lot of my identity, and I was kind of lost because I had to recognize myself again and find other objectives and other purposes, and to find the real meaning in my life. And that's not easy. I mean, like to get old, to age healthily, it's not for anybody. It's a very tough work, right?
It is, and yeah, and it's a tough work. And we say, actually, World Health Organization based, guys. I'm going to base my information in many researchers that I studied, and also the World Health Organization books as well. But what is defined nowadays, the phenomenon of aging? It's a bio, psycho, social, spiritual phenomena. And it's not only physical. So physical, it's very important we need to talk about this. If we don't have a body that's healthy, if we don't have muscles that can keep us strong to go everywhere, especially our legs, which will influence our brain. If we don't have, we can develop sarcopenia, fragility. If we don't have a good nutrition that I'm talking about nutrition that bring nutrients to our body, which is a fuel for our brain, for our body that has different needs because it changes metabolism. And it's fact, aging, it's reversible to a certain point in terms of not create so many illnesses, but it's biological. We need to have understand that. And if we don't have a relationship that having networking, the people that can support us, and this will affect our aging process. And the spirituality, which nowadays we can associate this with purpose. And when we talk about in conscientiology, we all talk about the existential program. Are we updated with that? Which phase are we? Are we adapting to that reality? Are we doing our intra-consciential recycling and existential recycling to sustain the work we need to do and our purpose in this life? It's meaning in our life for the longer we can, healthy, but not only physically, but our brain. I remember we always talked about one of the most noble organs of our body is our brain. Without our brain function, how are we gonna survive here? But also we needed to look in our body as a whole. Without a body that sustain, can be sitting down, no, okay, a body that, for instance, if you stand, you fall, and then that will make you having problem with your brain a long run and so on. That's very important we take into account and take everything together. As Anna said, it's kind of when we retire from a job. We don't retire from life. Some people think, okay, I'm going to retire and then I'm going to travel for the rest of my life. Or now I'm going to live in the beach and I'm going to go to the farm and okay, go. But need to find a purpose to be there. Otherwise, we are going to be in a paradise, but miserable because we are not doing something that has purpose. And speaking about aging, sometimes we see it's a lot of focus in the physical, but we needed to take into account our subjectivity, how much our preconceptions, how much our priorisms, our preconcepts will influence the way we age. And so that's why it's important we reflect in this. How much our ageism, our preconcept about aging, it influences us and influence other people. One thing about aging, now the myth. I was talking with Anna before. We talk about aging and oh, it's you are aging. You're gonna have to have pain, or you have at least 5 illnesses, or you're gonna be polymedicated, or which means you have to have lots of medications. Okay, I always was tricked. I was always questioned that it has to be in this way. So do I need really to age in this condition? If so, that doesn't make sense, And nowadays we are seeing that, for instance, research in 1935, they did a research, and with animals, and lots of research about aging. They contemplate the research among the animal kingdom, and we are part of the animal kingdom. And they observe that restricted diet means eating less will affect our body in a positive way. And what they observed, they did with rats and different animals, and they saw that with the fact that they decrease the nutrients, the food, the amount of food they were having, they decrease the appearance of dementia and other inflammation of the body and so on. And so by just doing this, and so what else can we do that we can prevent those illnesses to appear for a long period of time? Okay. And so these are the things that we need to see, that with agency, we can make decisions in this way. We were talking about before about what's happened with our body now when we are aging, and the myths about the aging. And we talked about menopause, which is a biological mark for aging for a woman. And some women think, oh my gosh, that's the end of life, isn't it? No, Anna, we were talking about this.
My God. Tell me about the hot flashes and the lack of sleep and the brain fog. And don't forget, you forget everything. Your memory also kaput.
Yeah.
So it's not easy.
Yeah,
Like
it's a
it's
fact.
tough work again.
It's tough work again.
Women don't have many pauses. We have menopause, which is a big pause.
And out of curiosity for you guys to know, menopause, the name, the first time was mentioned in 1721. It was a French doctor, that created this name to explain the hot flash and the stop of menstruation, and comes from Greek word with meno. Meno is related to menorrhea, which is the name of menstruation, and pause, stop. And in 1722, and I think 1732, he used this name in a scientific publication. And since then, it's the name we give to this phenomenon, which is, it doesn't reflect what it is actually. And there are many researchers that women, and another curiosity, only menopause started to be researched in a more serious way only in the past 10 years. Has been around talking about menopause, but very little information about it, what's happened with the body. Usually a woman has hot flash, or hysterical, or irritated, that's menopause. But nowadays they see that's much more than hot flashes. There are around 36 symptoms that the woman has as a result of the decrease of secretion of estrogen and progesterone and testosterone, because woman has testosterone as well, and as a result has all these biological transformation in our body. The thing interesting, guys, it's like yes, it's a tough work, but if we start to think that guys, if we have the guys there, we're gonna get on you as well. Okay, the physical body masculine, but let's talk about the body feminine now. when the woman started to menstruate, we had to learn how to deal with a body. So we had in our hand, I don't know, as Rolls Royce, a car, a type of car, okay? And now I needed to learn how to use all the brake. I needed to know how to maneuver this body. Now we need to learn how to maneuver the body that has a different condition now, which is a Ferrari. Okay, so now we need to learn how we want to use this body. It's a vehicle, but now in a different condition. It doesn't have.
And it requires a lot more maintenance.
That's it. That requires a lot of maintenance. But our body requires maintenance for many, many, many years. And now won't be different. And now it's a little bit different because it's the accumulative effect of what we've done throughout our life with our body will appear in our aging process. It's not like, okay, some people, that's why you see some people, they age in one way and the other age differently. We don't see people aging in a whole, like
Good
everyone.
light.
Yes, not everyone it's there doing exercise. Some people, they in the 45, 50s, some manifest already the cognitive deterioration. And so there are lots of things that people can develop earlier, no? And so I'm gonna read all the comments now. Hi everyone, Monica, thank you very much for your contribution. Such a meaningful topic. Growing old is something we don't talk about enough. Yes, yeah. It's start to talk more because it's a very, if you think, it's a very recent condition. Not many years, not long ago, we usually to die at 60, 65 or even younger due to the conditions we have. And because we improve our health condition, hygiene, vaccinations, through the public government principles and so on, now we saw that this improved. But we still have, we talk about age, but we still with lots of stigmas and also with lots of myths, dramas about aging, and sometimes a little bit poetic, so very.
I would like to add, and this kind of preconcepts, they are not only for the people in general. There is a big problem in terms of the medical education for that process. Like here in the US, you go to a gynecologist and they don't offer you to do like a hormone therapy to help you go through the process of menopause. No way, they just want you to go cold turkey and it's all normal and it's okay to feel miserable. So come to this new phase of your life where you are going to feel completely miserable and there's nothing to be done. It's completely normal. But it's not. I mean, like if you go to other doctors that are more like hormone literate and that understand especially the women body better, it's something that is completely necessary. Like if you have estrogen, you are going to have less risk of having a heart attack. Does anybody think about that? How important this is for you to become older and have a healthy life? That's very important. But here the mentality of the doctors is they dismiss your symptoms. They just gaslight you. They tell you it's normal, go through it. That's really disheartening, I would say.
Yeah, and it's interesting what you mentioned because it's not only the doctors, it's some psychologists, some professionals of healthy professionals, because we all need to remember we are professionals, but before being professional, we are the human beings and we relate with life in a certain fashion. And some people, they are closed, they have the absolute truth, they don't question their preconcepts. Sometimes people follow what is the society saying, because it's common now, it's normal. So let's be. And sometimes it's just people don't think a lot about other factors. And so it's interesting. It is. Thank you, Eliane. But it is something that we see with different professionals, but we need, that's why it's important we have information. The difference of our parents and our grandparents, it is that nowadays we have access to really good level of information, accessible.
And a lot of resources too.
A lot of resources, exactly. We have lots of information. Before, there is one way only to deal with the hormonal therapy reposition. It's just synthetic one. We have different types. So nowadays, you have phytotherapy that can help. And so we have a nutrition intervention, but phytotherapy can help. It's not going to be like good as would be a normal, synthetic, I don't know, but hormonal. But the person has more ways and resources to have more agency to resolve what it is they see. Eliane put here, wise scientist, women don't get old, they get more expensive. We have to invest in balanced food, supplements, pilates, musculation, and others.
And it's true. It's not cheap.
No, it's true. It's true. And it's interesting because if we don't do that down the track, we're going to have a problem. But it's interesting because there is another thing important to take into account that Anne was saying, the impact, the estrogen, the lack of estrogen in the cardiovascular health, but also in our brain. There is a researcher, guys, we're going to leave all this information now and the links for people to get more information about this research and so on. But there is Bisconi, it's a researcher that her focus of research is the impact of menopause in the brain. So what's happened with the brain when we don't have that the presence of that estrogen? And one of the things they observe can increase the occurrence of Alzheimer or other dimensions. So if we take this into account, it's important we understand we need to look after our body, but not necessarily to avoid, like nowadays we have some societies are more, other less. But for instance, see lots of intervention, cosmetic intervention, because I don't want my wrinkles, I don't want my hair to get white, and everyone they know what is best for them, if it's a white hair or not. But that's not the most important thing. The most important thing it is we look seriously how we are dealing with our body. Are we neglecting it? Because if we are neglecting it, we're gonna pay the price for that, because now it's different when we are 20s. The body deal with our actions in a different way. But nowadays, usually I don't like to sleep late, but usually I talk with friends that like to be away, and they usually say to me, wow, I used to be out until 1-2 hours in the morning, and now and I will arrive, and the next day I will be fresh. Nowadays I can't do that. Yeah, we can't. If we don't sleep, that will impact as well in a short period of time. What I'm trying to say is it's expensive, but it's worth it if we really want to have a productive life throughout our lifespan. And this is lifespan means we have more years, we add more years to our life. And the thing is how we are adding these years of our life if we are unhealthy. What's the purpose of being unhealthy? Now we have illnesses, and we can't do things that we want to do. It's not about, guys, not to have illnesses, but manageable, that we can still function and function well. I think that's the most important thing to understand. Our body, it's the instrument that we have to be in this dimension. If we don't have this, what we're gonna do with whatever we need to do here? And the longer we stay, some people think, oh gosh, I have to stay here. Wow, the longer we stay, how many things we still can do in one life, like 2 lives, in 3 lives in one life. I see, I have clients that at the age of 65, they are returned university and they are doing the second course. They are doing for the first time traveling and going to other countries to learn a language, things that they haven't done, and they are changing completely in their paradigm and everything. So how many more years we can add that can give us opportunity to exercise our conscious here and expand? But this only happens if we mature ourselves. We become more mature. No, Anna?
Well, I think that Darwin already told this because, like, if you don't adapt to change, you are going to die, right? So, according to our ability of changing and adapting, it's going to give us an opportunity of doing so many other things. But I'd like to be a little more specific in terms of how aging becomes an opportunity to expand your consciousness and prepare you for the continuity of life beyond death.
Okay, if we are lucid in a process of age, we can review our life. We can look back and we can do an evaluation of what are the mistakes we've done, our traits, the things that we keep doing again and again and again. Usually I say if after 20 years or even 10, we still complain about the same thing, we need to look at that. If we still complain, we need to look at that. If we still because we take into now the time. And so we have been living in this body, in this life for 40, 50, 60 years. So you have a margin of understanding, more or less, what are your tendencies. So when we ask ourselves, and that's when we apply the self-conscientiology, that's when we ask ourselves and we can look inside of us and see how many preconceptions do I keep? How many absolute truths do I keep in my life that I always kept for the 30 years? Okay, how many tendencies of behavior I kept? So the ideas that I nurture and I don't let it go. How many affections I still have, and how many times I still feel entitled with some situations or some people when I have to confront some people that I could let it go. Another thing about expand our conscious in aging as well, it's see how many things I accumulated, remorses, guilt, disaffections, absolute truth, preconceptions, resentments. I still have, and I nurture that. Victimization, self-victimization. How many self-victimization I still have? Oh, that person did that, or that person did that, or the guilt. Oh my gosh, I did that wrong. I made a mistake. And we don't understand. Hey, snap out of that,
And those feelings, they kind of come out in a form of physical symptoms as well. If you don't deal with it, that's what is going to happen. And you are going to wake up the next day with pain everywhere, and you are going to complain, oh, getting all this stuff. But come on, take a look at everything else, right?
Yes, we do study now how our impact, our sustenance, our thoughts, our emotions, our sentiments, no, our thoughts, our sentiments, emotions, and the energy, our act, impact in the health of our body. So how are we with that? And so we think we are intoxicated, but we don't intoxicate it only with food, or we don't intoxicate it. We know lots of aging process has relation with intoxication, mold, other types of chemicals that we have around, but how much we think we are intoxicated by our thoughts, our resentments, these emotions that started to rust inside of us, and they will stay until we depart from this life. And so aging expands our conscious because of that, our awareness. So we have time, we have the factor of time, and to see the behaviors that we still didn't go away. And why we still have that, why we still nurture that. And also, what are the things that we are developing now? I don't know, because of the society or because what is around, we are seeing there are many research of aging population get addicted to internet, which is happening not with age population only, but overall people are addicted to get the phone and being there, and the neuroscientists showing that the dopamine, because the dopamine is not, you don't have dopamine when you reach. Dopamine, it's a neurotransmitter in our brain that gives the pleasure, the sensation of pleasure. Do you know how we have the dopamine? It's when we look for. So when we are there, we are actually getting that dopamine, But when we don't have that, we have a down and we don't want to do anything. So all these things are around us. And we need to see how we are into this and how we are creating those manifestations or behaviors. And also, it's a wrap it up. It's a moment that we need to look our finitude. We need to look at that, yes, I'm but in 40 years or in 60 years, I'm going to leave this earth and I'm going to die. I will have this soma, I will deactivate this body. In which quality I want that? So what are the things I can do, start now, doesn't matter which age I am, that can give me the opportunity to prepare, not for the next life only, but to to have a gold relation with this life, to exit here at least with some things done or satisfied with our lives. That's not what we see around many people. No, we see that people are fighting with aging process, complain about getting old, trying to procrastinate, to avoid getting old as much as they can. And we talked about the gerontophobia. Geronto, aging, phobia, fear. So we have fear of aging. And if we fear aging, we fear death. Thanatophobia, thanatos, death, phobia, fear. So we fear death, and inevitably we fear life. If I'm trying to avoid something, I'm avoiding everything, okay? So sometimes we don't take this into account. Sometimes people avoid having love in their lives, but they are avoiding having love in their lives. They are avoiding having other satisfactions as well. And with aging, it's the same. If I avoid looking at aging in a more realistic way, with more agency, I'm going to be avoiding a very rich time of life, because we have an advantage of experience. If we don't have, because sometimes people didn't reflect, we can implement that. We can start to connect more with the purpose. Why do I do things? What's the intention I'm doing this? Why I still keep that preconception? Why I still keep that disaffection? I need to resolve this. I need to resolve inside of me. My mistakes, what can I do about those mistakes? Can I learn from it? Can I forgive myself? Because sometimes people, they struggle with the mistakes, but they need to forgive themselves. And just for your information, there is a research that has been done from a nurse in Australia, that she talks about the 5 main regrets that people have. Probably there are many more, okay? But she actually talked about those ones. Among them, the ones that catch my attention a lot, it's the one that people, they regret what they haven't done. They don't regret what they've done. So that idea of, if I had, okay? So if we had those things, if I had done that, I would have loved to study, go and do it. You still have time, you have opportunity. It's not because now I'm old to do something. The old thing is yours, it's your account, because there are people that are studying in very. The other day I saw a man. I love these stories because it shows that if one person can do, everyone can do.
Everybody can.
And I like it. It's not a poetical way, but what can I do to adapt to do that thing? What that person did. He is, I think, 8 years old. He actually got a degree in medicine. And I was commenting with some friends, and one of my friends said, wait, how many years he's going to work as a doctor and he's not going to be doing any specialty? Doesn't matter. He did what he wanted to do.
That's true.
That's it. What's the,
Yeah,
Okay.
we have a question here.
Yeah.
Eliane, she says that many of the elderly people, they tend to get more closed inside their own world. How could they improve their sociability?
One of the things that observe about the aging process is anxiety. It's increased anxiety. In women, is a lot related with menopause, but it's usually increased anxiety among the elderly population. And because of that, they don't want to go out, and they don't want to socialize. But when we talk about sociability and elderly, we need to ask them why. Because there are many reasons. Sometimes they are losing like hearing function, okay? And sometimes when they go and they don't want to tell anybody that, because it's for some people it's an aggression, like yes, people gonna think that I can't hear, and they don't want anyway. The preconcept the person has, and they are sensitive. They have sensitivity about this, and so they don't go in the gathering anymore because they can't hear and they don't want to be repeating. Another thing, sometimes people start to have losses. We talked about this before as well. We start to lose friends, and the more years pass, the more friends maybe people will lose, and this can affect the person. They kind of
become depressed with that.
Depressed, and with that, yes. So that's why it's important to ask them. And the most important thing about elderly, that it's an aggression against the person. It is, we think that some things is good, and we go and say, you have to do that because this is good. You should go out. You should. And they don't want. And this is very difficult because, especially with us parents, or we have elderly friends, and the important thing is to understand they have a reason, and they can talk about that reason. They can work on that depression if they want. If they say to you, I don't want, that's going to be in their account. That's their decision. Okay. So, but we need to understand that can be depression, can be difficult to be around people, can be sometimes they feel insufficient, and the things that they felt throughout their lives, not because they age. Guys, we don't change because we age. To the opposite. Everything that we manifest in ourselves, it becomes chronic. And they will appear, because it doesn't have defense, will appear in our aging. And so the person had already that tendency to be more quiet and didn't want to go out. And so it's not going to be different when we age. And so it's important to talk and to ask, why don't you want to go out? Why you do that? Or why you say that? And sometimes they will tell you, yeah, I don't want because of that, I feel like that, and they come with their remorse.
We have another question, Dr. Leona. She asks, what's the best self-care approach when aging with a chronic illness?
Yeah. Do whatever need to attend the chronic illnesses, but it's also trying to change the mindset, how you approach the illnesses. Is there anything that, in despite that chronic illness, you can do? So if the person can look in the, it's not the positive thinking, okay, guys? It's seeing that what can I do with the situation I have? What can I do the best out of the situation I am now? Some people, due to the chronic illnesses, they might not be able to run, but they can walk. They might not be able to go in gatherings, but they can meet people one-on-one. They might not be able to read, but I have a client that she's glaucoma, and we had to find a way because she loves reading, and so first she got a Kindle, and the letters were bigger, and then we adapt to audiobook, okay, and she was listening audiobook. And so it's kind of find the ways, and it's demand a change in mindset, in a sense that this is a condition. I will live with this, and how I'm going to deal with what I have healthy. Not only, okay, I need to attend the medication, but what I have healthy, I will do with this. I saw just before start today our talk, I saw there is a group I found fantastic, a group in Korea that they release a K-pop, and K-pop, it's all music and dance and so on. And these guys, the three of them, they are going to Brazil actually. They have the empowerment audition. They can't listen, but yet they sing and dance, and they put what they use the hearing to make sure that they listen. Yeah, they create, but they use a technology that capture the sound, and for vibration they feel the vibration, they translate that into the movement and the rhythm, okay. And so that's it. Chronic illnesses, unless it's something that the person is in a bed, even though if they still can see something or talking, still we need to invest. But
I
it's
was
find a way. Yes.
Just thinking, because, for instance, I watched something in another conference where the person didn't have a normal life anymore. And the thing is all about mindset, because whenever you lose a function, you cannot say that you are going to cure your body to recover that function completely, and you cannot consider your life normal only if you have that back, because it is going to be a different pattern of normal, and that changing of mindset is everything. I remember somebody asked one of the athletes, I think it's Gael, that lost a leg. Yeah. The guy that used to navigate boats, and they said, "Oh, now you are, winning an Olympic medal without your leg. How does it feel?" And he's like, "I don't compare myself with what I was before having a leg. I compare my situation today when I was having hemorrhage and I was almost dying, and what I am today, that I am alive, and that I still get to enjoy doing what I love." So I feel like that's everything there.
Yes, and also, yeah, in complete what you're saying, Anna, it's like from another angle as well. It's one person being able to look at the new identity, right? So I'm not anymore a person that is normal. not normal in a sense. I have all my functions. So in this new me, which resources I have still available for me to manifest myself. So that's the difference. Sometimes the difficulty is to let it go or to compare. And people say a lot that now in terms of aging. Oh my gosh, I wish I had 20 years old. Oh gosh, I wouldn't. I don't want to go back to 30 to 20 to 40. I know it's past. Oh my gosh, that's the best stage ever. It probably down the track is going to be that moment the best stage. And so it's how we relate to the transitions that life brings to us, and how we transition. We change, okay? But how we go to transition those phases, that's the difference. Because
And
that's the psychological, it's the mindset.
I would like to ask you how developing parapsychic abilities would help older adults to deal with grief, fear of death, or questions of purpose.
When the person has parapsychism, a set of abilities where we have perception of what we call the other dimensions or energy, first-hand experience sometimes when a person has a out-of-body experience, a projection of consciousness. So when a person invests in the parapsychism, the first thing, one of the things that I notice in myself while the parapsychism, I never feel lonely, because you expand your energy and you are connected. So connected with energy and sometimes with people or other people in another dimension, astrophysical consciousness that we say. So the parapsychism, it's give us an expansion of perception of us in this universe. It improves our sense of connection, of a sense of belonging in a more broader way, and also give us the opportunity to have an out-of-body experience and to see us living that death is just the disconnection of the body. And this is not a belief, it's an experience. That's why it's important to have your own experience, see if it makes sense for you. But sometimes you can perceive that energy as well, the perception of those connections when you expand your energies and you exercise the perception of your energy, the impact the energy has in your body and the environment. When you start to perceive that, you start to see how we are interconnected as well, and how we impact ourselves and we impact people around us. So parapsychism gives us a more taking out from all the mystical thing, phenomena, and so on, because it's kind of a sense that we develop, which gives us this radar that shows us it's all good. Drama, it doesn't make sense when we are understanding and exercising our parapsychism, because we can perceive the energies around, we can perceive our impact and the impact we have, and we see that sometimes there is not much we can do, we just can contribute. And so that's why it helps us with the process of dying, because dying, it's going to be death, obviously. We miss people, maybe some people, they will have that as well. I want to miss people, I'm not going to see people for a while, but we don't miss that connection with the body, because we know when I'm out of here, I have the body, I have this material life, which is very important, this body. I'm grateful for this body that gave me the opportunity to live in this life, but I'm going to go for whatever I needed to develop. And it's very interesting, the research shows that people who has spirituality, and the spirituality doesn't necessarily is related with religion, it's the perception of, and the experience of this connection that we are saying with all beings, that gives the person this peace in relation of the death, okay? And parapsychism helps us as well to see ourselves and to see what are the effects we generate with other people, because we become more tuned with the thoughts we generate, the emotions, the impact of our energies in the environment and in ourselves. And so this helps us to understand more ourselves and start to make some changes in order to become more healthier, desdramatize things, having more connection with people, less a priorism. We start to minimize life, material things. We minimize disaffection. We put things into perspective because we see how greater life it is. Okay, and I think that's one of the reasons that some of the reasons that the parapsychism works. And it looks like when I say, oh my gosh, it's so poetical, but it's my experience. I've been dealing with parapsychism since very young age. And when I started to study consensual projectiology, I understood many things about the parapsychism and become my second nature. It's a conscientiological ideas applied in day-to-day life, and gave me a lot of to think and the opportunities to have experiences to experience that. And so I invite people to experience and apply the vibrational state, but beyond that, to connect every day as I am a conscious temporarily in this body, but this body is important, the dimension is important, but how am I connected with this dimension? How much of this energy, these environments are driving my actions, my thoughts? How much am I being influenced by everything that's happening? How much am I contributing to the chaos that has in this earth, especially now? And we usually say we choose. Now we can, by choice, we can make this experience intraphysical a big school or a big hospital. It's our choice how we do that. And the parapsychism help us to do that, to become more aware of where the fights we pick and the ones that we let it go.
Well, we have a question from Dr. Leona again. She says that she had a near-death or out-of-body experience, which she talked about in her book. She has a book about it. If you could please, Leona, put the references of your book. So coming back to this material world, a person feels like an alien to others, but deep we live in peace with the world. This is a kind of a very common result of having a near-death experience. Generally, the person changes a lot after that phenomena, but Anna can probably tell more about it.
Leona, thank you very much. And maybe, yeah, it's a very interesting. I would love to read your book. And yes, it is one of the things that people feel when they have near-death experience. And actually, nowadays, the near-death experience is the DSM-4 or 5, a description of the phenomenon of near-death experience. There are many things that they describe. The DSM-4, it's a diagnosed book used by psychiatrists and psychologists. But this, exactly, it's because when we go out from our body, in this case, the near-death experience due to an accident, but when we do that voluntarily as well, that disconnection from the body, it's a paradoxical thing. It allows us to connect more with ourselves. It's interesting, no? With our essence. So when we are here in this dimension, in this day-to-day life, it's we are living here, but it's kind of we are disconnected from us because our body protects us somehow from the energies, and that's what allows us to be here and being lucid and function in here. It's more or less like this. You go to the deep sea. When you go to the deep sea, you can't go just with like a vest. You need to put all the equipments to immerse yourself in the deep sea, no? And but when you are moving, you lose connection, the perception with the water. You don't touch things, and you don't have that connection with yourselves, no, with your body. You don't perceive that with so strong perception. If we bring to our experience astrophysically, when we go out from our body, we don't have this restriction from our physical body, the density of our physical body. So we feel exactly what we feel as a consciousness. I'm without my body, but I feel present. And when you come back with that memory again and again. In your case, you brought and you felt alien. Yes, aliens, because your perception of the world changed completely in your mind. You change it, and the values that people have around you, the priorities that the world has, or the people bring to you, or the behaviors, they don't align more with yourself. But at the same time, you are peace. Why? Because you are connected with yourself. And so it's very interesting, because many people, when they come back from a near-death experience, they change their work. They actually go and make peace with people around them. They change. Sometimes they had some behavior or habits. They stop those habits. And it's not because a religion, enlightenment or something. It's the first-hand experiences when we see ourselves in an environment where allows us to connect with ourselves. Okay, that's why it's important, the parapsychism. We don't connect ourselves through the physical body. We use other resources to connect with our essence, not what was invented, not invented, but what we build in this intraphysical life.
So here's the name of her book, Awakening to the Power of Now. And yes, the big thing that we tell in Conscienciology is that having a near-death experience is something really otherworldly, and that changes you forever. But the fact that you can have an out-of-body experience guided by your own will and done whenever you desire makes a huge difference, because you don't need to be in an accident or like to almost be dead to have that kind of changes. You can implement those changes based on what you experience with your parapsychism. So that is something that is available for all of us.
Yeah.
It's something that can be done at any time. There are techniques to do that. There are courses that we offered where you can learn about that as well. So life is a big opportunity. We have to take advantage of all the resources we can have. But thank you for sharing your experience.
And it's a very important experience, because as a result, you wrote a book. And I think a book is quite important, because many people that probably wouldn't access that information. And from there, they can actually start to question their nature, and they expand the knowledge as well. But as Anna said, there are ways that we can have that perception through the phenomena where we can generate ourselves through the techniques. No? But it's a phenomena really that when you have either way out-of-body experience, which is through the near-death experience, which is quite expressive and very strong, but through the out-of-body experience as well, projection of consciousness voluntarily, or that you do a technique and go out from your body. The perception of this dimension, first-hand experience, is something that nobody gonna take from you. Even the person says you are dreaming or you are hallucinating. It's not a hallucination. It's not a dream. It's not an effect of drug, hallucinogen. No, you know, when you have a lucid experience, and that never gonna go away from your memory, and that will impact the way you look life. And definitely, Okay, so it's not something, oh yeah, I went and, no, when we really, we started to rewriting our conception of life and our values. It affected deeply our values, our principles, and the way we see life. And that's why help with aging and help with what we are saying, to expand our awareness, not to stay only in our biography, intraphysical biography, which means the biography we wrote in this life, but actually to incorporate and to bring that biography as an add, transmutating to our history, evolutionary history, because that's what it is all about. This life, it's composed, it's actually part of a very long walking of experiences. It's not the last one and not the first one, and there's not going to be the last one, okay? And probably going to have many, 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 many. But it's important in the context we have now. And so that's here and now, which is very important as well. I think when we are aging, it's important to value throughout our life, now, here and now. I can do something here and now, and that's what I'm going to do. I can't do anything about the past because the past is already gone. I can learn from it. I can't do anything about the future because it's still building. But what I can do is right now. What I have in my hands that I can do right now. Okay.
Very, very interesting. So our time is up, unfortunately. I'd like to invite you to do your last remarks, and thank you so much for being here with us.
Guys, I would like to thank you, the ones that are here, the ones that are gonna watch in the future. And I would like to invite each of you, even if you have 20, your 30s, your 40s, or each age you are, that to remember we are experiencing life in this dimension is very important. Remember that we have something that we need to do here, where whatever it's a big project or is small, it's for us is very important, and we need to take advantage of the opportunity of the people who are around us, the opportunity that we are having now, even though people look and say, well, it's the worst time in Earth. I think we had worse. No, it's the bad time in Earth, but I think we have worse time, but we need to take advantage of that and get the wave of what it is, the consciousness and the energy that wants the best for everyone, and get into that. And this will impact our health. It will impact how we impact other people. And I think that's very important. And remember, every single opportunity to age better, take it and experiment and see how it works for you. Age is just a number. If we're going to think really serious, we are actually much older than we think as a consciousness. But yes, it's important to take advantage of that.
Yes, I think Eliana's thought is telling about all of us. We had a lot of valuable information and insights here today. So thanks, Anna, for being here with us. If you could give how people can find you on Instagram, because Professor Anna, she has a very interesting channel on Instagram where she puts some videos, and she discusses about this topic in several angles and approaches. So I think that would be nice for people to have.
Yeah. I have a channel on Instagram to help to de-dramatize aging and to see different types of aging. No? So you can find me at PC Ana Paula Lage. PC de psicóloga, né? PC Ana Paula Lage. So yeah, come have a look in the videos. The idea is to show that we can age in different ways, and so it open our mind and we become more flexible about our own experiences as well.
Would be this one. Did I put it right?
Yes, yes. At
Okay.
PC Ana Paula Lage. Yes, this one. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, if you guys enjoyed our conversation, I did enjoy it, and Anna has a place here with us anytime she wants. It's awesome to be here discussing everything. So please give us a like or subscribe to our channel, Consciousness in Evolution and Reapprehension International. Thanks for having us today. And our next Consciousness in Evolution happens on July 6th. It's going to be with an authority in Lyme disease. We are bringing Professor Carlos Leviche Jr., who will discuss insights to allosomatic life, to allosomatic health, in terms of having Lyme disease, which is a disease that is becoming most prevalent in most countries and continents. So see you then. Thank you.
See you guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.